Imagine this: a father, deeply involved in his son's life, hands over an AR-15 style rifle just days before that son attempts to assassinate a former president. Now, the same father is scrambling to cover his tracks, hiring a team of top-notch lawyers as the FBI breathes down his neck. That's exactly what's unfolding with Matthew Crooks, the father of Trump's would-be assassin. You don't have to look hard to see why the FBI is interested in him, and it all starts with that gun. It wasn't long after the attack on July 13th that the FBI turned their attention to Matthew Crooks. You see, the weapon used in the attempt was once his, legally bought back in 2013. Just recently, he transferred it to his son, Thomas, the same young man who would later fire at Donald Trump. Now, if you're thinking this raises some red flags, you're not alone. The fact that Matthew reported his son missing just hours before the attack only adds more layers to this mystery. He claimed he had no idea where Thomas was, but it's hard not to wonder if he knew more than he was letting on. After all, it's not every day a grown man gets reported missing after a few hours of being out of touch. When the FBI raided the Crooks' home, what they found was nothing short of alarming. 14 firearms, explosives, and enough digital devices to make anyone suspicious. It's clear they weren't dealing with just a simple case of a troubled young man acting alone. This was something more, something darker. As the investigation deepened, Matthew Crooks did what anyone in his position might do. He lawyered up. And not just any lawyers. He brought in John Quinn and Matthew Logue, heavy hitters from Pittsburgh, known for handling big cases, the kind where the stakes are sky high. This move is telling. It signals that Matthew is bracing for a storm, maybe even expecting the possibility of charges or lawsuits. Why would he do this unless he had something serious to worry about? It wasn't just the legal team that caught attention. The sheer number of weapons found in the Crooks' home painted a disturbing picture. Among the 14 firearms were high-powered rifles, including the very AR-15 used in the attack. Explosives were also discovered, suggesting that Thomas may have had plans for something much larger. Investigators are still combing through the digital evidence, phones, laptops, hard drives, searching for any clue that might tie Matthew directly to his son's violent intentions. And then there's Mary Crooks, the mother who, oddly enough, hasn't faced the same level of scrutiny as her husband. She's a licensed professional counselor, someone who should be attuned to the signs of mental distress. Yet, somehow, her son's descent into violence went unnoticed. Or was it ignored? It's almost ironic, considering her profession, that she might have missed or even dismissed the danger right under her own roof. Some might say it's just bad luck, but it does make you wonder what was really going on in that household. Was Mary simply out of the loop, or did she choose to look the other way? One former colleague of Mary's even remarked, it's almost ironic, isn't it? A counselor of all people caught up in something like this. You'd think she'd see the signs, but maybe that's the scariest part. Now, with the FBI continuing to dig, the question remains, how much did Matthew Crooks really know? Did he suspect his son was planning something horrific, or was he just a father caught off guard? The fact that he's staying silent, letting his lawyers do the talking, only fuels the suspicion that there's more to this story. And while Mary Crooks stays in the shadows, the focus remains on Matthew. His connection to the weapon, his quick move to lawyer up, and the sheer volume of weaponry found in his home all point to one thing. This investigation is far from over, and Matthew Crooks might be at the center of it.
Middle MAGA.